Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting, and a bit of an impromptu video. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of time with everything else that's been going on to make this video, but it's incredibly important. We're currently on our way up to EJ Churchill's, and I thought I'd take the time in the car to talk about the very important issue, which is the general licenses, GLO 4, 5 and 6, being removed thanks to the lovely Chris Packham. Now, I'm not going to profess to be an expert on bird shooting or in the field shooting. I've only recently started doing it myself. However, I understand the massive damage that this is going to do to the countryside, and as somebody that professes to be an animal lover, the damage that Chris has caused in his campaign and is going to cause with these licenses being removed is going to be incredible. The newborn lambs, they're going to have magpies eating out their eyes and killing them. All of the songbirds are going to be killed off, so all of the variety of lovely birds out in the countryside are going to just turn into pigeons and magpies, and also the crops are going to be decimated. Now, there's a little bit of confusion of exactly what this means. A lot of people are saying that wood pigeons can still be shot for protection of crops, but actually looking into GLO 4 on the .gov website, it lists wood pigeons and it lists crop protection. Now, I don't know if there's another exemption that you can shoot them under, but it's putting a bit of doubt of whether this is just going to be a complete stoppage of being able to shoot those birds without going for a license. So what has been released is that they're now going to have individual licenses for doing this, which of course is going to end up costing something, so a lovely tax income for the government as usual. Looking on the website, there at the point of filming this video, there are only prices or costs for commercial licenses or site licenses, and the costs are pretty astronomical. I think it's £110 per hour of work required to look into your license for it to be approved. I don't know how many hours it takes to go for one of those licenses or approve one of those licenses, but it could quite easily end up being a fair amount. I don't know if they're going to make it cheaper for the individual. I would hope so, but any cost, I think, is too much, really. This is going to have such a detrimental effect on the countryside as we know it, and again, as I've said, it's completely misguided of Chris to think that this is overall a good thing for our wildlife. Unfortunately, we don't live in the world of rainbows and unicorns. Things need to be killed. Even for vegan food, things need to be killed to be able to protect the crops. We don't want to be paying £5 for a loaf of bread. We don't want to be paying £5 for all of the foods that, well, or astronomical rates, not just £5, for all the foods that relies on crops that are protected by shooting these birds. Getting into pigeon shooting more recently, I've seen the swarms of pigeons, the massive flocks of them, and it's insane. Going out and shooting those wood pigeons has a massively positive effect on the estates that they're on, in terms of letting other birds come through, and also, obviously, more importantly, protecting the crops. Other implications are game shoots. You know, game shoots take great pride in shooting magpies and jays, and will actually prioritise them over the pheasants and partridge because of the destruction that those birds do. And you've got to think, you're on a game day and you go for a jay or a magpie. That it shows how horrible these birds are, and also how plentiful they are. And I think having any number of that sort of species in one place is going to be damaging. That's why we control the number of deer. That's why there is an obligation on estates to cull deer and to make sure the population doesn't get too big. There is also one other potential huge ramification for sports shooting. Now, we're actually just pulling in now to EJ Churchill's, so I will have to cut it short, but and I'll come back to it after our meeting. We're working on a few things. We can't really talk about it now, but hopefully some great stuff in the future to come. So the potential ramifications for sport shooting is, well, what are the two main uses of a Section 1 shotgun? Of course, practical shooting and target sports, but also pest control. Now, is this sort of a back route avenue to put more pressure on banning or further restricting Section 1 shotguns? That could be a little bit of a leap, but if the number of people using Section 1 shotguns for pest control falls, that's far less justification to be able to keep them. And that could be very, very dangerous, especially with all the attacks that are currently going on, thanks to our friend Sean O'Neill at the Times. This just could be another avenue where they're going to try and restrict us a little bit more and just take another chunk from this sport. So yes, I'm going to have to leave it there as we're just pulling in, and I will see you guys in a second after the meeting, and we'll continue this chat.
2 hours later.
So we've just been in for the meeting with EJ Churchill's. I didn't take the camera around with me. We got a fantastic tour across the estate, but I have a feeling I'm going to have an opportunity to show you more in the future, all going well. So you can just see the clubhouse there as we leave. But getting back to what I was saying, ultimately, yet again, it comes down to unity. Unity of all disciplines, whether you're shooting at a target, whether you're shooting at a pest. We all need to protect each other and protect the sport that we love in whatever way we love it and whatever way we do it for each other. That means clay shooters, game shooters helping practical shooters. That means practical shooters helping game shooters and vermin shooters. They attack from many different angles, and if we throw one side away, or we don't care about one side of any form of shooting and it gets taken away, that's less support for all of the other disciplines. So we need to watch this as a whole. As I said, I might have just started game shooting and pigeon shooting. Obviously my passion still lies with practical shooting, but I see this as important. It infuriates me as much as the articles in the Times about practical shooting. And by sharing the message and telling all shooters what's going on, hopefully we can sign every petition that is needed. We can lobby who we need to within government and all of the other organisations, and basically just stick up for one another. So yes, leaving EJ Churchill's now, just a quick update there on the recent sort of licence suspension. Hopefully it does get all sorted out. It is currently only a temporary suspension or revocation of those licences, so we'll have to see how that goes and where that leads. But there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, I hope to see you soon.